Let's continue preparing for this Excel 2013 MOS certification. Here we're practicing 4.3b and we're focusing on Excel functions if, COUNTIF, and NOT. You can download this file at sdrv.ms/1c5 capital Y capital P M7. So we see this spreadsheet here, and we can see there's this monthly budget column, and unfortunately we have to pay our bills, and these are just some of the things we're going to be paying each month. And you can see here's our budget. This is what we're allocating for the various amounts, and that's a lot of money there. Maybe we can save some money if we cut down on these costs, but nonetheless, here's our budget. As for the actual spending, the reality is looks like we're spending a bit too much, and this amount here is bigger than this amount here, and sometimes we're meeting our goal and sometimes we're not meeting our goal. So let's see how this works here. So I can see that this is a sum function, equals sum from here to here, and this here is a sum, so we're just adding things up. And let's click on this first message here. What we have here, if you look at this formula bar, is an if statement. If C4 is greater than B4, C is column C, row 4, if this amount is greater than this amount, comma, it's going to display the message too much, comma, otherwise it's going to print out the message goal met. So in this case, 1500 is not greater than the 1500. It is equals to, but not, it's not greater than. This little Pac-Man mouth is opening towards the greater than value. This means greater than. So because it's not true, it's going to display the second part, which is goal met. Whereas here, when I click on the next cell, it says too much. It says too much because this if statement, the C5, indeed is greater than B5. So if this condition, this is the if statement, has a condition, if the condition is true, then it's going to display this first text, whereas if it's false, it's going to print out the second text. So you can see that we're just repeating this pattern here, and I probably used autofill to just drag out the bottom, and it very quickly found all these different messages here using the if statement. So I'm also going to note here this there's this nice name box here. I merged in center. I even made it very pretty yellow, and the person's name here is Greg. So let me scroll down a little bit, and I see there's another box here that's talking about total overruns. So there's a box here that says total overruns, and what's happening here is it's going to look at the above data, D4 to D15, all these messages about too much or goal met, these messages, and it's going to count if within this range the message is too much. So in terms of losing our goal, we're way over our goal by too much. We're paying too much. We unfortunately overrun our budget 5 times. Now let me just change some numbers here. Let's pretend that we didn't entertain ourselves very much. Let's say $50. So goal met. You can see the numbers all automatically adjust, including the total overruns. Let's make this groceries. Well, groceries is already under. Let's go gas and hydro, 150. Total overruns is 3. So you can see that everything is automatically adjusting itself. It says here you went over budget too many times. So this final box here I want to explain is kind of confusing, but I think we can break it down. So let's try to peel away some onion layers of understanding here. So this final box I'm clicking on, which gave the message you went over budget too many times, has an if statement. So here, if this condition is true, it's going to give you the message you went over budget too many times, and that's what happens here. Otherwise, it's going to say you are a budget ninja, which is good. Now I see something sneaky here about the word Susie. So let's try doing something and let's be a bit suspicious about this word equals Susie B1. What's this about that? So clearly we're over budget, and we went over budget and unfortunately here we went budget 3 or more times. So this is greater or equal to 3, and that's 3 strikes and we're out. Unfortunately, that's too bad. In fact, let's make it a bit worse here. So here we'll just say we entertain ourselves and we'll spend $250 on entertainment. For sure, 4 is way too big. However, if I change the name Greg to Susie, look what happens here. Susie is allowed to break the rules and spend as much as she wants, so she's a budget ninja no matter what. So let's see what happened here. If, and the condition here is from here to here, if and, so both of these conditions must be true. This condition and this condition must be true. And the fact that we have not is going to do the opposite. It's going to switch true to false and false to true. So right now our B1 value is Susie. So this is true. B1 indeed is true. So when we say that B1 does equal Susie, and that's true, not true becomes false. So this result here becomes false. And the way that the AND statement works is that they both must be true for us to result with an overall true result. So because of the way this logic is set up, it's going to definitely go to the second latter option, which is you are a budget ninja. So this is kind of cheating for Susie. She's allowed to spend as much as she wants. So let me just write this down for you. So what we have here is, in terms of Boolean logic, you can just Google Boolean logic if you're not sure what's going on here. What we have is, when we say something is true and when we say something is not true, it becomes false. And something else we need to know here is that as for Boolean logic, we have something that is true and true becomes true. True and false becomes false. False and true becomes false. False and false also becomes false. So the only thing that becomes true in terms of Boolean logic when we're using the word and here in Excel we're using the word and, is both conditions must be true for us to have a true result. And for Excel, the true result here is the first text as opposed to the second text, which corresponds to the false result. So finishing this video off, you can see here that not only do we have the Susie part, we also have D18 is greater or equal to 3. So D18 is going to be D18 is here. This number we're talking about is the number 4, the total number of overruns here. In terms of us being going over budget, it's considered over budget if we have this value greater or equal to 3. Now, of course, we can be more strict and change this to a 2 or even a 1, and that's something we can play with. So I apologize if this video is a bit long, but somehow we got a good chance to put everything together here. We could, of course, break down this video and practice these concepts individually, but the beauty about Excel is that you can actually combine functions and have custom solutions to work out exactly the way you want. So remember that the function not flips the Boolean result, and it requires both to be true to result in true, and an if statement, if it's true, it returns the first thing, and if it's false, it returns the second thing. And finally, if you like spending, make sure you change your name to Susie.